So today I'm going to teach you guys a few different ways to hold catfish, and as well just an easy way to get them off if you don't feel comfortable holding them. I also wanted to dispel a few myths out there. So the most common thing that I hear is that people think their whiskers are poisonous. So you can see they have big long whiskers here. So there is nothing with their tentacles or whiskers. Those are just what they use to find food. So those don't sting you. They're not poisonous, nothing like that. Okay, so you do not have to be scared of their whiskers. So I'm gonna show you a few different ways that you can hold a catfish. So number one is you can actually lip them like you would with a bass. So all catfish have in their mouths is, their mouth is very rubbery. They have a little bit of like sandpapery grippers. So it might scratch you a little bit, but there you go, you can lip them just like that. I find the problem with most catfish is they don't really open their mouths a lot, so lipping them might not be an option. But that way you don't have to deal with anything you're not comfortable with, you just go straight for the mouth. But if a bigger one clamps down on you and shakes its head, it can scratch you and cause you to bleed. But they don't have any teeth or anything like that, just a bit of a rubbery, grippy type mouth. So I always like to wear a glove. I've been barbed a few times as a kid. So there actually is some places that you have to watch out for the catfish. So number one is their dorsal fin, or the top fin. And the other is their two pectoral fins at the sides, or their two side fins. So those three fins actually do have barbs in them, and they are very sharp, especially on smaller catfish. So those are the three things you need to avoid. You don't need to worry about their mouths too much or their whiskers. It's just you don't want to get barbed or finned by these three sharp fins. The smaller the catfish, the sharper they are, and they can pierce your skin super easy, just like a needle. So you just want to avoid those. So I find one of the best ways to hold a catfish is actually from the stomach. So you just slide your hand up next to those two pectoral fins, and then your hand's not even near the dorsal fin at the top. So you're just holding the two pectoral fins up in between your thumb and pointer finger. So I find that's one of the best ways. You know, you're away from the barb there, and then you can deal with the hook. And their barbs actually do have some sort of toxin in them. I got finned by a smaller one last year, and I actually felt nauseous after a little bit. So if you Google it, you can find out exactly what the toxin is. But you do need to be careful of these barbs, because not only do they cut you and make you bleed, but there's also a toxin in there. It's not fatal or anything to humans, but it can make you feel a little queasy, and I think it also makes the wound bleed more. So number one is you can lip them. Number two is you can hold them from the belly and just slide up along the pectoral fins there. And then the third way is from the top. So you can hold down the top pectoral fin, or what I prefer to do is put it like between some fingers there. So that way you're in complete control of that top dorsal fin, and then you're just kind of avoiding the bottom pectoral fins. So those are the three main ways I hold a catfish, but I find the most effective thing is if you're not catching them to keep them, I don't even bother bringing them in the boat. So I'll show you a quick little tip that I use to get them off your line without even having to touch them, and it only takes like 5 seconds. So I'm gonna teach you guys a trick how to get catfish off your line without even touching them. So step one is buying a tool like this. So you're gonna put the hook at the little end there, and then once you loop it around the hook, you just pull the trigger, and that closes the hole right around the hook. Okay, so you're gonna find where the hook is in its mouth. So in this case, it's hooked in the top of the mouth. And then you're just gonna look which direction the hook is going. So right now this fish is hooked in the top of the mouth, and the hook point is pointing up. So that's how you're gonna hook most fish ideally, is through the top of the mouth. So whichever direction the hook is in, you're going to close the tool around the hook and then just flick in the opposite direction with the flick of your wrist. So for me, if I hold him like this, the hook is down and then up to the left. So I'm gonna grab the hook and flick it off to the right here. So it's gonna happen pretty fast. So now I've got the hook held with this gripper here. Okay, and again, it's hooked through the top of his mouth. So I'm just gonna flick in the opposite direction. Ready? And off he goes. So again, I just had the hook in this direction. I've got it closed down, and then just with a swift, hard flick of the wrist, I'm pulling it this direction and flicking it out of his mouth. So I do that 99% of the time I catch a catfish. That way I don't even have to bother holding them or possibly getting spined. So just that trick one more time. Caught another catfish here. The hook is going out to the left past his eye. So again, I'm gonna swing my wrist to the right. And usually it works first try. So hopefully this trick helps you guys out as well. And you can get this tool pretty much anywhere. You can get it at Canadian Tire. You can get it on Amazon, or I think I even got this on wish.com for like $4. So they're super cheap, but absolutely amazing tool. Makes my life handling catfish a lot better.